We've been looking forward to this interaction. Thank you for your participation with this interaction. So we know that you will have some questions for us, and we are expecting those questions. However, just for a few moments, let us just speak for a few moments on our purpose, why we are here, why we are coming through at this time. We are a collective consciousness, but we do communicate through an individual being. We have communicated the name of this being to Karen as Sarai, Sarai. You could think of Sarai as a kind of ambassador. So she is the ambassador we have chosen to communicate the collective thoughts, the collective ideas, the collective philosophy through Karen to a greater audience, if that makes sense. And the reason that we are choosing to communicate in this way is for the purpose of healing. Now, we have said before, and we will say it again, that healing is bringing a frequency into alignment. So when we speak through Karen, we are transmitting ideas, thought forms, philosophies that shift energy, in addition to an energetic transmission that you can feel as you experience the energy underneath the words, if you will. So you're receiving the opportunity to shift your perception, as well as an energetic transmission that goes along with that to kind of assist you in shifting your perception. The shift in perception is what shifts the energy and what creates what you would call healing. So healing, bringing a frequency into alignment. Another word for that would be bringing a frequency into energetic alignment with that which is source energy. When you live in harmony with source energy and your energy is aligned with that frequency of source, you experience well-being and health and your innate joy and your innate playfulness, and that is who you truly are. There is an illusory aspect to this dimension, one of separation. You are never actually separated from source. However, you experience the perception that you're separated from source, and that is the perception that needs to be realigned or healed, if you will, if you wish to create a joyful life experience. And if we were to sum up the truest desires in every human being's heart, it would be that, to experience oneself as an emanation of source energy, to experience that alignment. Every so-called external desire is really a desire to align with source. That is what you truly want. It's not the external thing. Although what's interesting is that the external reality, because it is a mirror or a reflection of your consciousness, will tend to rearrange itself once you align your energy with source, and those things that you once thought you needed in order to experience well-being will begin to flow into your experience effortlessly. But it's because you've already created that alignment or energetic frequency of source energy. You're allowing that to be expressed through your being and into your life. And so those circumstances and circumstances even beyond what you could imagine begin to flow in and begin to be reflected back to you, if that makes sense. Now you are all surrounded by non-physical energy, non-physical guides that are willing to assist you at this time with this process. However, you have to be willing and you have to be on board with the process. Many human beings are in resistance to the process for the simple fact that they are afraid to feel certain energetic frequencies in their bodies, certain emotions in their bodies. So when there is resistance to those certain emotions coming to the surface, there tends to be a need to control the external to prevent any situation from triggering those emotions that are uncomfortable, if you will. So if you'd only have the courage to experience the full spectrum of emotions, you would live with a lot less resistance, because you wouldn't always be trying to control the external world in order to create feelings of well-being within you. So what we're saying is that you're living backwards. You're living backwards. You think that you need to control the external to create the internal, when really you need to align the internal and then let that be reflected back to you. There's much less need for control. One of the most misaligned perspectives in human consciousness is this perception that we need to control. We need to control the external. We need to control other people. We need to control in order to feel a sense of well-being. That is what we would say is an extraordinary misperception in the collective consciousness. There is no need to control. There is actually a need to find the flow of source energy within you and just let that flow within your being, within your physiology, within your life. And when you do that, things tend to work. Things tend to work out for you, and it generates more well-being. When you try to control, whether that's control another person, control external circumstances, control your emotions, you tend to create a lot of chaos in your system and in the external world, and it has the opposite effect that you intended to. So we're bringing through some of our philosophies with you because we are what you would consider to be masters of healing, although we don't love the term masters because it implies that it's this final destination when everything is actually evolving and there's no college degree. It's not, there's a destination. So even though we are what you would consider masters of healing, we are also evolving our healing modalities. However, in comparison to where your civilization is now at in terms of healing, you could consider us to be, quote unquote, masters of healing, if you will. And again, we know we've said this multiple times already, but we'll continue to say it. Keep in mind that healing is just bringing a frequency into alignment. It's that simple. It's not complicated. And once you learn how to bring a frequency into alignment, then you too will become maybe not a master, but a governor of your own healing process. The first step of healing is taking responsibility for it, not thinking that you are a victim. It's like no matter what's happened in your life experience, you can take responsibility for the vibration that you're offering or the vibration that you're emitting, and you can shift that frequency or that vibration, which will generate what you would call a healing experience. And one more thing we would just like to tack on to that, to add to that before we take questions, is that there is a group of human beings that are seeking to control other humans through the use of energy or the use of frequency, or in your language, the use of fear. Fear is an energetic frequency. And so we want you to be aware of that, because when someone can invoke fear within you or invoke even a feeling of shame or inadequacy within you, you are much more easily controlled. And it's of utmost importance that you learn how to take back your own power and learn that no one really has the power to control you, because you are always the governor of your own mind, and you can direct your mind and you can direct your attention. When you know that you can direct your mind and you can direct your attention, then no other being can control your consciousness. You are a free being. And yes, they might try and continually try to take control over you, but they don't have that power when you are the governor of your own mind. And that's one of our most important messages, is how to be the governor of your own mind, with a purpose of, again, of shifting energy and shifting frequency.